Hello, welcome to another week of Tesla news. Lots of exciting stuff. There's a new referral program out. Some incidents involving Autopilot. I was in one myself. I'll talk about it more. I'm having a bit of fun with the Summon, and it's backing me out of the garage right now. And I had another camera hooked up to the steering wheel, and it just went crazy. There is a new referral program. It's this June through July 16th. If you want to, you can use my code. It's here on the screen. It's down below. It's the same code that I've had in my previous videos. And this time, it's cool. They give you a full $1,000 credit towards the purchase of a new Tesla. Either the Model S or for the first time, the Model X. So that's pretty cool this go around. I don't get anything directly right away, but I do get an opportunity to win a few things. So if I use up all 5 of my codes, then I'll get a set of 21-inch wheels. They're black, silver, or gray, including summer performance tires, and it's like a special rim. It's kind of an interesting incentive, especially since I just had to buy 2 new tires. I don't know about 21-inch tires though, because I need the most amount of range possible everywhere I drive. Other things that Tesla owners get if you use the referral program: if you make 4 referrals, you go to the Gigafactory. Last referral program, I won that, so I am going to the Gigafactory, and I'll post a video, and it'll be a lot of fun. I'm going to see what this huge factory is. If you don't know what the Gigafactory is, that's where they're going to be making all the batteries for the Model 3, the Model S and X in the future, and the Powerwalls. It's going to become, when they're finished with it, the largest building on Earth. It's huge. It's going to be very, very exciting. 3 or more referrals, the Tesla owner will get a Tesla jacket, an exclusive one. If you get 2 or more referrals, you'll receive a Weekender bag that matches the car's interior. So whatever your car's interior is, you'll get a Weekender bag that matches it. So that's kind of cool, special bag. And one person, every time you make a referral, gets entered into a lottery for a ludicrous P90D Model X. That would be pretty sweet. If I won that, I would definitely make tons of videos about it. So, anyways, the referral program, you can use my link below. There's 4 left. You want to save $1,000 on Tesla. Tesla knocked out VW from the top 10 car brands. It's now valued at $4.4 billion. So that's kind of cool to think that Tesla now has a higher valuation than VW. It's pretty cool for an American little startup company that's doing really good right now. So good, in fact, that it just won an award for the highest satisfaction of any premium brand from Auto Pacific. It's an award that says, hey, people that have Teslas really like them. So that's good news. Other Model S news. There's been a study on the battery pack degradation, so the loss of capacity over time. Everybody knows batteries wear out. The more you charge them, discharge them, they wear out over time. Tesla has gone through great lengths to condition the battery and make it last as long as possible. That's why they give you an unlimited mile, I think 7, maybe 8-year warranty on the battery and the powertrain, because they're very confident. If it loses more than 20% of its capacity, then they'll give you a new pack within that time frame. So early data's in. They're showing it's way lower than they had previously thought. They're showing about at 100,000 miles, maybe 8% at the most. A lot of people are reporting less, and most of that happens within the first 50,000 miles. There's about a 5% degradation in the battery that they're seeing on average throughout the whole base of Teslas that have been monitored for this or reported on this. There's some people saying less than 3%. Mine is about that. I've got 40-some thousand miles on my Tesla, and it's only a couple miles less than when I first bought it. When it's fully charged, it's 272-3 miles, and I was getting like 275 at the most when I first bought it. So it's pretty much the same. And I've taken a lot of long trips. I've filled it up to the top. The thing about the battery is they recommend on your daily trip driving that you don't fill it full. You only do like 90%. So when you have it set to 90%, that top part of the battery is not just totally full. The battery's happier if it's not just sitting there 100% charged and just holding all the capacity. But if you're taking long trips, it's cool to fill it up to 100% because you're going to use it right away. So it's not just sitting there completely full. And I think that's pretty cool because like the Volt, it doesn't let you do that. It only uses like a little over half the battery at any given time, and it leaves that top and bottom available all the time to have less wear and tear on the battery because GM doesn't want to replace the batteries as often. I get the bottom line in the news is they're saying that larger packs have less degradation than smaller packs, so that's really good considering these batteries are very expensive. The cost of the batteries is coming down a lot though. As the technology gets better and the Gigafactory is built, they're saying I think the packs were originally going to be like $35,000-$40,000 for the Tesla, and they were saying about a year ago they're around $20,000. Now they're saying it's going to be closer to like $12,000 here soon. So as they produce more of them, the costs have come down a lot. So that's really good news. So even if you do need a new battery, 10 years from now, there's probably going to be a better battery if you still are driving the same car. So they'll probably be aftermarket ones or even another one from Tesla. It's going to be a lot cheaper. Over in Hong Kong, Tesla was forced to do an update to take away the calendar, which is a bummer. They did this previously with Autopilot. They had them take away the Autopilot after they pushed it out. I guess they got to talk to them and prove that it's a safe feature, and it's just kind of weird that they can take features away from a car after the fact. It's very, very odd. There's some weird stuff out there. Like Tesla offered to share all of its Autopilot data with the U.S. Department of Transportation, which I think is good. I think it's all anonymous, so it's not like they're tracking you and showing everywhere you go because it doesn't say who did what, but it does show that statistically Autopilot is safer than a human driver when enabled. Elon was saying it's about 50% greater probability of not being in an accident when you have Autopilot engaged. So that's interesting because all of a sudden, this brings us to Model X news, people are crashing their Teslas in Autopilot or blaming Autopilot for crashing them. And Tesla, since the vehicle's connected, they log in and they check out the logs and they're like, oh, no, you accidentally enabled Autopilot or Auto Park Summon and when you got out of the vehicle, and that's why it ran into the trailer in front of it because the trailer was up higher than the sensors. And so that's how that first thing went down. I reported on that during my live stream a week ago. And then this Model X, it was a pretty elaborate. The guy only had it 5 days, and he was trying to enter a parking stall, and then suddenly he accelerated over the curb, 39 feet of planters, and crashed into a building. He says the car just did it itself. Tesla says he accidentally hit the accelerator instead of the brake, which is something that people do in cars all the time. So it's not just a Tesla thing. It's a everybody thing. It's an easy mistake. You get excited, you think something's going wrong, and you hit the brake really hard. Well, if you accidentally hit the accelerator, it'd be bad. There was also a video of a guy in a Tesla that he was going on his Autopilot, and the car in front of him switched lanes. There was a parked vehicle on the side of the road, ran right into it. It wasn't a bad wreck, nobody got hurt, but obviously the Autopilot didn't detect that parked vehicle, and it didn't brake enough, and it hit it. So Autopilot still needs a lot of work. That's why right now they're saying Autopilot requires 100% of your attention and focus on the road, so you can take over at any second. It's just like cruise control. It's just a more advanced version of cruise control, but for steering. So you still gotta be ready to take control. I just had an incident a week ago. I was utilizing Autopilot. Some construction work came up, and I was following a vehicle. Same exact thing. The vehicle moved lanes. I just assumed he was switching lanes for no reason. I didn't realize it was because there were pylons in the road. And I think this one pylon was kind of out of place. It was a little bit further into the road than the other ones. And the car locked on autopilot, wanted to keep going straight into the pylon, and it all happened so quick. I wasn't alert enough to grab it and get out of the way. When it got close enough, the auto braking kicked in. And so the auto braking kicked in. I tried to steer out of the way. It still hit the side of my car, and it took out my mirror. So I don't know. It's interesting. I'm not sure if I wasn't using autopilot, I may have ran directly into the pylon, or I may not have been as confident in the car, and I would have been a little more alert myself, and I would have been able to avoid it. I'm not sure yet. I still think autopilot's pretty good. Just, no sleeping. Like there was a video of a guy sleeping. Totally not safe. Don't do it. I think it would be good because autopilot doesn't work with construction. If there was some kind of a warning that pop up if it detected construction, letting you know that there's construction ahead, or because I know they report it on Google Maps, and I think that'd be helpful. Waze reports it, things like that. I think would be helpful. If there's debris in the road, autopilot doesn't see that as well. So there's a lot of things it doesn't see yet. It doesn't see things like parked cars, apparently. 99% of the time works great, but that 1% can get you. The repairs on this vehicle is very interesting because I live like 300 miles from a Tesla certified repair shop, and I'm waiting on quotes right now. I had a couple of them look at it. They want to do a lot to it, even though there's minimal damage. And they're talking like, I won't get my car back till August. It'll take a month or longer to get the parts in because apparently Teslas are so popular right now. There's a backlog on getting them fixed, and there's a backlog on getting parts. So luckily I did a little makeshift thing. I got my mirror working, and I'm just going to drive it around less than stellar looking for the next month or two. But, luckily I wasn't hurt. Nobody else was hurt. The car is slightly hurt. It still drives great. One of the sensors popped in on the bumper for parking, and it was interesting because it said parking sensors were off, so it couldn't auto park, but autopilot still worked without those front little sensors, or that one front little sensor not popped in. I took off the nose cone, I popped it back in, everything works now, except for my mirror doesn't fold in. This craziness. Let me know below what you guys think. Do you think autopilot might need to be reworked a little bit more, or if it's safe the way it's currently implemented? I think it's fine, and I'm somebody that apparently took a little bit too much confidence in it, and I ended up in a little incident. But let me know what you guys think. I still trust it, even though I think it may have contributed to my accident, although it may have also saved me from a worse accident. So it's kind of hard to say right now. I'm gonna get one of those dash cams so I can be more aware of things that happen in my Tesla after the fact in the future. I think it'd be interesting to have. I'll do a video on it whenever that happens. Also, Model X news. There was a guy who parked his Model X in front of 3 Superchargers because he had a bike rack on the back and he didn't want to take it off. So that went up online. Everybody's freaking out. They're like, "Oh man, this guy, he's a snob or whatever. He's preventing all these people from charging, and he should have just took his bike off." Which poses the question. I mean, what else was he supposed to do? He couldn't get to the charger. The only thing he could do is take off the bike rack. And do people really want to do that? Is this going to be a bigger problem? What about trailers? People are going to have to park their trailers somewhere and disconnect and recharge. It's I don't know, something to be mindful of if you get an X and you're towing stuff. You want to make sure you're good at, disconnecting it when you go to charge and reconnecting it. Let me know what you think. You think it would have been okay if the guy just stood by, if he saw there were, 4 of them open. He took up 3, figured one other guy could charge. If he waited by there ready to move it if somebody came up, I'd be okay with that. That'd be like, well, you only need 10 minutes of charging, and, there was one open spot. If he was standing by and he moved it really quick when somebody pulled up, I don't see that as big of a deal. But if he just parked it there and just left, like overnight, that would be really not cool. So speaking of accidents and Model X's, apparently if you're going to get that panoramic windshield replaced, it costs around $2,300. So That's interesting news to find out how expensive that huge windshield is on the Model X. On Model 3, people kind of figured out a hidden HTML code. So if you go to your My Tesla page, you can look at the source code and you can figure out which number you possibly are on the reservation queue. Very interesting, because there are VIN numbers, but the VIN numbers aren't sequential, so you don't really know what your queue is by the VIN number, but this will tell you what your queue is, supposedly. I was trying to do it. I was trying to do it with Chrome. It didn't seem to work. I couldn't find the code, or maybe Tesla changed it. I'm going to try it again later with some other browsers and see if I have any success. Let me know in the comments below if you tried it, if you have success, what place in line you are. I think I might have found something in there, and I think I'm still like 168,000 or something, even though I placed it like the morning of. Craziness. Elon Musk was in the news a lot last week. He did the Tesla shareholders call meeting, and he also did an interview at the Code Conference, and he talked a lot about, AI and autonomous vehicles and things, and people kept asking him, like, in both things, is the Model 3 going to be autonomous? And he tried really hard to not say anything, but basically he said there's going to be another event this year for the Model 3, and that they're going to do the obvious thing. And that he said that there will be fully autonomous vehicles in 2 years, which is when the Model 3 is coming out. He also said that Model S and X will have the latest technology ahead of the Model 3. So what this means, I'm taking it as, I bet you that at the end of the year, they're going to show off the Model X and S with second generation Autopilot. It may not be full autonomy, but it'll be a next step towards it. I'm guessing it'll be something closer. It'll probably be able to recognize traffic signs and lights, and it may be able to do a certain amount of navigation. Maybe it'll, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they have cooked up, but this is supposedly going to be the type of level autonomy where he's saying the car will be able to drive itself across country. So maybe they'll also show off the final version of the Snake Charger, and maybe those will come out sooner when they're putting in at least one of these things at every supercharger, so that the car could drive itself across country. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Think they're going to show it off? Think it's really going to be fully autonomous? Or is they going to leave that for the Model S? Because that's what the obvious thing is. It'll be interesting to see. The Model 3 is creating all kinds of news and problems. Nissan Leaf sales are in a free fall, according to this article on Electrek, which is like most of the news that I've been reporting has been reported by this website. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's awesome. Electrek.co. Anyways, Nissan Leaf, people aren't buying it. I mean, why would you? Why would you buy an electric vehicle that only realistically gets less than 100 miles of range, as little as 60 in the winter if you get the lower end model? Even on the 300 or 30 kilowatt model, the 100-mile range or slightly above it is very optimistic. And here's why you would. If you live in Colorado, I was there this weekend and they had all kinds of incentives. It was crazy. It was like $21,000 or $22,000 in incentives on a new Leaf. That's like more than half the cost of the car. I mean, way more than half. It's like a $32,000 car, and you get $22,000. You can get it for less than $10,000. It's just ridiculous. They're doing you get $7,500 federal tax credit. I think it was $6,000 or so for the state credit, and then you also get I can't remember. It was like $5,000 or some rebate, and then there was like some other kind of a dealer incentive, and there was a bunch of things, and it added up to be like, it was like close to $22,000. Nissan saying in their ads, why have reservations about buying a Leaf or buying an electric vehicle when you can have one today? Saying cancel your Model 3 and use that $1,000 as a down payment on a Nissan Leaf. Which, it might not be a bad idea. You can get a really good deal on a Leaf. You can start driving electric now. They're pretty cool little vehicles. And then, turn around and trade it back in for a Model 3, or just keep it as a secondary car, because My guess is they're not going to be worth a whole lot of money once the Model 3 comes out. Already, used Leafs, you can pick them up for $10,000. And if you live in Colorado, you can still get that, I think it's like $5,000 if it has never been registered in Colorado before. So you can pick up a used Leaf for like $5,000. And then you can drive to work and back for free. A lot of places in Colorado have free charging at work. So, I don't know. If I lived in Colorado and if I didn't have a Tesla, I would definitely buy one. Heck, even if I have a Tesla, I might buy one and use the Leaf as my secondary car, so I'm not putting as many miles on the Tesla. Very, very interesting stuff. So, let me know what you guys think. Please subscribe. Use my referral code if you don't want to wait for a Model 3. If you want to get the latest and greatest Tesla, that is the Model S or the X, you can do it now. You can do it today. And I did a long video on the cost of owning a Tesla, and it should have been the cost of purchasing a Tesla or budgeting for a Tesla or something like that. But I'll be doing one here soon on the cost of owning a Tesla now that I've had one for a year and a half. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Bye. Come out and play! Like when they do music videos and there's a beat and it kind of goes blurry, like, you know, like with the bass. What is that?
Okay, where is it saying?
I never seen dick clockers during the...
If you don't understand how it's a huge deal, start watching all the videos.
Another game save exploit. The cool thing about this one is it works with all PCs across the board.
For the tater tot.
I know I could get at least 5,000 down the street.
Looks soggy to me.
Yes, it's a lie.
I'm Yago.
I'm Couch Guy.
Hi, I'm Fox.
And I'm Raggable. Pretty cool stuff, huh?
What? And where can you find that?
Better go wait outside. We don't want any trouble.